So our last film of the evening is the global box office biggest draw, Jurassic World. Bwomp, bwomp, bwomp. Okay, so let's start off. Jonathan and I have not yet seen this film, so we're going to be interviewing Steven and asking him questions about the film to gauge his reaction.
Which he's completely unprepared for.
This is a new film, and there's going to be some spoilers in here, as there probably were in the last ones, but deal with it. Okay, so Steven.
Statistically speaking, everyone has seen this movie.
Except
Statistics don't tell the whole story.
Except for two of the people at this table.
Okay,
Or minorities.
so Steven, you've seen the first one only, right?
Yes,
We
so
should
I saw
not
the
edit
first
this
one.
out.
I don't know if maybe it's just a lot of people have this crazy nostalgia about the first one because they saw it when they were young and dinosaurs were really big. I wasn't really in love with the movie. I can definitely appreciate what it did for special effects, and I think for the most part, a lot of the effects do still hold up. However, I found that a lot of the movie was very kind of cheesy, and not really in a fun way. Like, it was just full of these cliches, like...
Steven Spielberg. We're talking about Jurassic Park right now, right?
Yeah, Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, continue now.
Yeah, I mean, you had like the rock star scientist or something who he's like a genius, but he's also like totally a party guy,
Like Bill Murray in Ghostbusters.
or literally like Tony Stark.
All right, fine.
I just
That's
find
good too.
That's a bit of a cliche that kind of bugs me, especially considering he's like a mathematician,
Okay.
like the dorkiest of all the science majors, and I should know that because I'm a science major.
But I wanted to ask, since you said it's cliche, Steven Spielberg usually is the master of pulling heartstrings and with cliches. He doesn't do
With his
anything.
best buddy John Williams.
Yes, he doesn't do anything in this movie.
A
Jurassic Park?
lot of people, and again, this is my personal opinion, but like the movie wasn't really touching me. I mean, there's like two kids in the movie who I found kind of annoying.
This is the new one.
No, the old one.
We're still talking about Jurassic Park.
Where I think I guess I was supposed to find them endearing or something, but I just find them really annoying. There's like there's like the scientist couple who just seem to be constantly amazed by everything.
Okay,
I felt like it was a very childish movie. Like it had this like a real sense of like naivete about it, where like everyone was just constantly in wonder of everything.
Do you think that
Maybe
like,
I'm just cynical because I've sat through like so many movies like this.
He's just a
okay,
cynical
so
person, folks.
so
For
you
those
could-
who don't know him,
if you had to guess, you would think that the original Jurassic Park is kind of aimed at a younger audience that is more impressed by dinosaurs.
I feel like it was, or maybe just even an audience in general that was impressed by the special effects of that time.
I think that nowadays we're not as impressed by dinosaurs, so maybe that's why going back and rewatching it, you didn't like it as much.
Yeah.
Because like now dinosaurs are not as impressive, especially when you have something like Godzilla that's a fire-breathing dinosaur. It's like you guys got to up your game if you're gonna
We
like
talked at everyone. Yeah, so I wasn't crazy about the movie. Again, this is another one I saw. I watched the original Jurassic Park several weeks ago, so I can't remember all the details if I wanted to like do a scene by scene thing that
No.
bugged me. But anyway, we should talk about that's just setting up the context of why I might feel the way I do about Jurassic World.
Okay, so going into Jurassic World, were you excited to see it?
Definitely not.
Okay.
Judging from the trailer, I didn't really feel very interested in the movie, and I kind of felt like I was going to go for a bit of a run-of-the-mill blockbuster. Blockbuster.
So how about this? Judging by the trailers, none of us were interested in this movie. However, after you heard that it was dominating at the box office, did something pique your interest?
No, I was like, why is this making so much money?
But did you want an answer to that question?
No, I felt like I knew. Well, I didn't.
I don't feel like there is an answer to that question.
Yeah, I don't feel like there is an answer. I mean, I saw the movie. I mean, I thought this movie was
interest to go on.
decent. I had no interest to watch it. I still don't fully understand why this is making so much money. I mean, I understand that it's making a lot of money, right? Because, it's a summer blockbuster type of movie. It has, an established following, I guess. But especially compared to something like the Avengers movies, or even the Harry Potter movies, which all I thought had a much bigger following.
And bigger build-up, because even the Avengers had several films to build up that movie.
Yeah, just
and Harry Potter had seven.
Yeah, exactly. Just overall, these other movies that had, or even Hunger Games, just these movies that had so much. I felt had so much more hype going into them,
and a bigger marketing campaign behind it. Jurassic World did not have that big of reach in terms of its marketing. I think that its fan base was not necessarily there coming out of. When was the last one they made? In the 90s or something?
But I think it's just a name.
Maybe, or
you
the
hear the word
2000s.
Jurassic and you're going to think, okay, Steven Spielberg movie, 90s. It's got a big appeal. It's going to be a big.
Do you think Chris Pratt had a lot to do with it? Because
definitely. Yeah, Chris Pratt definitely was a big sell for the movie. I think marketing wise.
Is he this big of a star? Do I not know this? I don't.
Did you not see Guardians of the Galaxy?
No.
He was very charismatic.
How is that exalted him into a movie star all of a sudden?
Because Guardians of the Galaxy made.
But one movie.
No, he was in Parks and Recreation first.
Okay.
And then he's
a TV star before.
Yeah, like a comedy thing. Then he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, which made all kinds of money, and
he was in Her.
He wasn't Her.
Yeah, he played the.
Oh yeah, he wasn't Her.
Which character did he play? I forget.
There's two guys in the movie.
Okay, so is it Amy Adams' husband?
No.
Then it's
no. It's like one of Theodore's coworkers.
Oh yes, that's right.
He has a mustache.
Okay.
Everyone in that movie had a mustache.
Now I recall that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So no. I mean, what are we talking about? Yeah. So Chris Pratt's like a big star right now, and for good reason. I find he is a very charismatic actor, and he's very fun to watch.
Besides in Her, I did not see him in anywhere else.
Yeah. No, he's very entertaining to watch in the Avengers. The Guardians of the Galaxy.
So so he's certainly becoming a star. Okay, so let's just go through.
Even taking that into account, I don't understand financially how this movie made more money than other movies, which I guess I could more easily justify their box office returns.
Well, could we look at what came out that week? Because a lot of
I did look it up a bit. It doesn't. I mean, it looks like timing had something to do with it because Jurassic World came out during a time where there was no movies to compete with.
Keep in mind it's summer too.
Yeah, but it also came out when there was no other blockbusters to compete with.
But even if it's by itself, you still have to get like a draw to come to you because summer could also lead to people wanting to stay.
I mean, it could be. It could just be that parents who saw the originals were now bringing their kids to see it.
The Toy Story effect.
Yeah.
The Toy Story effect, huh?
There's something I don't understand, even coming out of the trailers. If so many things had gone wrong for 3 separate movies of Jurassic Park, how can they open up a park on this thing? Shouldn't someone say you know what, might be a bad idea at this point?
But I think that's the point, because humans don't usually learn to forgetful beings. And
no, but this movie is just people. No, but all the Jurassic Park movies, the people are just dumb. They constantly make even in the original Jurassic Park, there were so many oversights that led to the park. Well, I can't list them specifically off the top of my head, but I remember watching the movie and being clearly that's a terrible idea, and it's going to come back to bite them later.
Yeah. So basically, they don't really cover my concern of saying this is why we thought it would be safe. We got everything under control. We fixed the breeding process.
But I think that's a good hook because that's usually what humans.
No, but I'm saying straight up, just in the logic of being a person in that universe. How do you say we're gonna open this park because the last 3 times we did it, people were dying.
Because that's the folly of mankind. This always happens. History kind of tends to repeat itself, and people don't learn from their past mistakes. And when there's money involved, there's always a draw. So I think that's a good hook for the story.
So they don't address that.
Not really. Again, even in the first Jurassic Park, the story takes place before the park even opens.
Right.
And things go wrong, and then the park never gets off the ground.
Okay.
And I guess this is following that up.
This is now.
So it's not a sequel. This is not a sequel.
No, it is a sequel. I think they do acknowledge that the first Jurassic Park happened. Again, I haven't seen the other 2 Jurassic Parks, so I don't know if those are canon.
There's 3 Jurassic Parks.
Yeah, but people say the other 2, the second and third.
Not by Steven Spielberg. Let it go.
No,
I think he directed the second.
Although one of my friends said the second one
so.
is pretty good.
I'm gonna tell you.
I think he just did the first one. Steven Spielberg. He probably produced the other.
I'm pretty sure he only directed the first one. No, but anyway, yeah. So again, I feel there's, in terms of plot holes, I feel there's so many oversights that, these people could have taken more care of.
Director Steven Spielberg, second movie. He did the first one.
Oh, he did the
That's
first
what I thought.
Oh, okay.
You're right.
Yeah, so no, definitely in the first one, I had a lot of feelings of I guess that power grid's gonna fail because that guy's totally ignoring the thing that's going wrong with it. Anyway, whatever. So but yeah, whatever. People don't learn from their mistakes, I guess.
Okay, so I was there was something that was hinted at me in the trailer, and I want to know if they did this. It seemed like they were trying to be meta in the same way that the park goers aren't coming as much because it's dinosaurs. We've seen dinosaurs already. Movie goers are why would we just go see dinosaurs? So it's we have to engineer this new thing to get people to come see us. We have the same way.
Get people in the theaters, get people in the park.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, did they do anything meta like
The
that?
movie did not. I didn't feel like the movie had that much self-awareness to it.
Like, cause like a 21 Jump Street was like, oh, we know we're rebooting this kind of, we're rebooting an old program. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this one did not.
No, I didn't feel like there were, and I feel like there was definitely room for those kinds of jokes, but like the movie didn't really display that level of self-awareness, except for like maybe one point where Bryce Dallas Howard's character was selling some investors around the park, and then the joke at the end was that they were investing in the Indominus Rex to make it like Verizon presents the Indominus Rex.
Oh my
So that
god,
was
so
kinda
much
funny.
It was there.
No, there was a lot of product placement in that movie.
God damn.
Sponsored by Samsung.
Yeah, no, okay, fine. Okay, let's just make this a point now.
It's
There was-
T-Rex carrying the Verizon logo.
We made his arms longer so we could talk on the phone.
Yeah. Okay, no, I'm gonna make this a point now. Product placement normally doesn't bother me in movies, but I felt like a lot of the times in this movie it was extremely blatant. Like so you guys saw in the trailer how the park is kind of built as like this hub, and there's like this central hut in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that hut in the movie is the Samsung hut. It's called the Samsung hut. There's a big Samsung
Is it
logo on
referred to as Samsung
Yeah, I
at
think
some point?
I
Guys,
think,
I think we
it,
should be stopped speaking about Samsung because we don't.
we're gonna lose some advertisers here. Yeah, so there's like there's the Samsung hut, which is the central one of the central locations in the movie. I felt felt very out of place. Although I mean, I guess in a real park, Samsung would be sponsoring a hut, but it just felt very
Like it
forced.
felt like, and there were several things. It wasn't
Yeah.
just Samsung.
Yeah, exactly. One of the kids has Beats headphones.
Chris
they're-
Pratt drinking a Coke.
Yeah, Chris Pratt drinks a Coca-Cola and like it's one of the glass bottle Coca-Colas, and he turns it and angles his fingers so that the Coca-Cola label is clearly visible on the outside while he's drinking it.
This is what marketing is, right?
Yeah,
This is
so
what-
look, again, I'm not normally against product placement in movies, but I felt it was very distracting in this one, especially when like the Coke is like center shot.
product placement. I mean, if it's
So,
in
yeah,
There was
really-
there was a shot. Did you watch Skyfall?
not yet,
James Bond?
actually. I should probably get that. Except
But there's like once they made this big deal that like Heineken is sponsoring James Bond. Heineken's sponsoring James Bond. There's one scene in the movie like he takes a girl home after a bar. He's just sitting on the couch. He's holding a Heineken bottle, drinks it, puts it down, and like leaves and goes to do a more purposeful scene. And it's just
placement.
funny because like it was very direct product placement.
Okay, no, so again, product placement normally doesn't bother me in movies. This felt like very blatant product placement.
But I'm sure like this amount of product placement helped them to pay for this movie.
I'm sure it did. The product placement probably paid for the movie.
Yeah.
I can destroy cinema. But I'm just a guy.
Okay, and you were telling me about the kid characters that
Yeah, so
you
there-
said were being annoying.
Yeah, so there's again kids in this movie, just like there were kids in the first Jurassic Park, and like in the first Jurassic Park, these kids are somehow related to the person that runs the park. In this case, Bryce Dallas Howard. Although I should mention, there's another owner of the park, but whatever. She seems to be overseeing the operations.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I found these kids kind of annoying. One of the kids, for some reason, acts like he's straight out of the 90s. Like, he uses a disposable camera. He's got one of those binocular things where...
Sponsored by Samsung.
He's got one of those binocular things that you, like, click a thing and it slides pictures in front of the binoculars. Again, like, when the movie opened, I thought it was taking place in the 90s, but no, it takes place in present day. This kid is just really retro for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know if that was just a callback to the series origins, or if this just... he was supposed to be cute or something.
So you're
And he's really obsessed with dinosaurs, like to the point where he just knows the name of every dinosaur.
so it doesn't seem like a realistic character.
No, he didn't seem like a realistic character. He almost seems like a stereotype of what they think the kids that are fans of this movie are like.
Okay,
90s
so
kids.
Yeah. And there's even one point in the movie where they're like hiding from the dinosaurs, and there's like a truck they're like in a garage, and there's a truck, and he's like, "Hey, that looks like a 1982 whatever." Like, how the heck does this kid know the brand? Like,
this is the smartest.
he just has this encyclopedic knowledge of everything that I
A
like.
very precocious child we have here.
That's it. He's like such a Hollywood child. It like really bugged me. And the other kid was kind of like your generic teenager kid. Like, just seems uninterested in everything except for girls.
Were there any other characters that really stood out in this movie?
No, well,
like actors or anything like
there was
that.
plenty of characters in the movie. Okay, there's Bryce Dallas Howard's character, who again bugged me because she's again this stereotype that we've seen in a lot of these young adult movies for the kind of this like very strict female authoritarian figure
Okay.
with like this very straight haircut and like all white clothes for some reason.
A deliberate attempt to like make her the authority, like even in the way she visually looks.
There's literally like a line in the movie that her boss tells her, it's like, oh, you just see these people as like numbers on a spreadsheet. You need to see the fun in this or something like that. And it's like, oh, this is such a... I just hate when movies try to characterize characters like that, where one character basically just describes the other one's personality to them.
It feels like a very paint-by-number character, right?
Yeah. It just always bugs me when people when one character in the movie describes the other one's character to them, and almost as if you're telling the audience.
Almost like exposition.
It's exposition. It's like it's not even like a normal conversation that would happen between people. It's one character telling the audience what to think of another character.
So the original Jurassic Park was given a lot of praise because it used a lot of practical effects. Did you find there were some practical effects in this movie, or was it pretty much like just a CGI fest?
It was pretty much all CGI. Apparently there was... Okay, I'm not really sure, but I think there was a scene where... I think it's a Brontosaurus, like the ones with the long necks, that was dying, and Chris Pratt was holding it exactly the same way how in the original Jurassic Park they were holding a Triceratops while it was dying. Okay. And so yeah, he's holding the Brontosaurus, and like I think in that scene that may have been done with a practical effect.
Okay.
But then because it was like a close up of the dinosaur's head, but I think that's the only one.
But for the most part, it wasn't like, let's say something like Mad Max that's like, okay, we're gonna actually like break these cars over here to deliver a point. Because even in the trailer, there's like a picture of a helicopter crashing, and it just looks like
that's clearly CGI.
I understand that there's some things that you can't do realistically. But it just seemed like everything in this movie didn't feel like natural. It just felt like there are parts where you're just watching a computer.
Yeah, I mean, we could... I don't know if we want to get into like a whole CGI versus practical effects debate, but yeah, like the effects were decent enough.
But there was like an over-reliance on it, did you find?
Well, the same over-reliance on CGI that you find in a lot of modern movies. I don't see how the dinosaurs could have looked necessarily... Like, they were good CGI dinosaurs. We're just here getting to like, the inherent unbelievability of CGI, I guess, when used in certain ways.
Okay. So again, the attraction of this movie was the dinosaurs. Like, they're the big monster thing. Were they still interesting in this movie? Did they still have an appeal, or was that like lost?
Mostly
Lost World.
Again, I'm not super impressed by dinosaurs anymore.
Okay.
Especially when it's scenes like where there's like the kids who are in some kind of ball cart thing, and there's dinosaurs running around them, and you can totally tell these two things are not existing in the same place. As well as the dinosaurs being interesting. I mean, yeah, there's the whole Indominus Rex thing, which is kind of selling point of the movie.
I have a question on the Indominus Rex.
Okay, wait, no, but the whole point about the thing about the Indominus Rex is it pretty much just acts like a Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah, okay, so I have a question on the Indominus Rex. One of the big things about movies like Jaws, or I think even the first Jurassic Park, is...
That they don't show it. Yeah.
Did they do that in this one?
Okay, so it's not like you only see the Indominus Rex at the end in that case. I think for the first act of the movie, you don't really see it. I'm trying to remember exactly at what point it would... Definitely before like the hour mark in the movie, I think you see it.
Half-hour mark?
I'm trying to remember what happens in the first half hour. Because they go to its cage like the first time to visit it and survey the area, and they don't show it there.
Do they do the thing where it's like, oh, you're going to see a foot, you're going to see like a
something like that. You see it like brushing.
But they build anticipation until you finally get the reveal.
Somewhat. No, so they go. Okay, if I wanted to like summarize the plot, they go to the cage. The Indominus is like somewhere in there. Chris Pratt is like being brought in because he's an expert with the raptors. So of course they need to bring him to assess whether the Indominus's cage is safe, because that's something he's qualified to do.
I would not know anything about this.
Even though he's a professional raptor trainer or something.
Okay.
So they don't show it there, and then a bit later in the movie, like very soon afterwards, they get this. Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard's characters get this call that they've lost the thermal signature of the Indominus Rex. So they go back to the cage to investigate what happened to it. And they find like claw marks on the sides of the cage. So it looks like the Indominus climbed out of the cage. So Chris Pratt and this other guy go down to investigate the area. And then you find out that the Indominus was actually able to hide its chemical signature because they genetically spliced it with something that can do that. But whatever. And so that's when you see the Indominus, because then it like comes up behind them and you actually see it. and that's where it's kind of able to it like ambushes them, and Chris Pratt survives, but the Rex bursts out of the cage.
Here's the question: do you see the Indominus Rex more in this movie, or do you see Godzilla more in the Godzilla movie?
You see the Indominus more than Godzilla. Although I did find that I wish I would have seen Godzilla a bit more in that movie.
Sure.
So I feel like they show the Indominus a fair amount, like as much as they should. I didn't have a problem with the movie on that front. So Vincent D'Onofrio's character is like a military guy, and basically the most cliche military guy that they could have gotten.
Not Pyle.
And he's got this plan that he wants to use Chris Pratt's Raptors in the army.
Okay.
Because they're like these unstoppable killing machines, and he doesn't understand, like the movie doesn't understand that having raptors in the army sounds like a terrible idea. And it just like continues with this storyline throughout the whole movie. And so that's dumb. You did get, one thing I liked is that you did get a good sense of Pratt's, like, his character's kind of, being friends with the raptors and whatnot.
Like his professional skill.
Yeah, so you kind of got a good sense of that. That was cool. So again, spoiler alert, there's a point later in the movie where you've seen the trailer where Chris Pratt kind of rides out with the Raptors and says that, okay, the only way we can beat the Indominus is to like use the Raptors to hunt it down. And be like, yeah, that's the only way we could have beat it. No one else could have come up with any better idea than that.
Isn't that it's like a plot for Pacific Rim? We gotta fight monsters with monsters.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Okay, no, but this is like the one good part of the movie because he chases down the Indominus Rex with these Raptors and they like corner it, right? So then the Raptors are advancing on the Indominus, and the Indominus like starts growling at them, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, the Indominus is part Raptor. And the Raptors then all turn on the rest of the cast, and they all start like chasing down the cast. So like that part was actually cool, because then it's like, oh my god, they just lost the Raptors. And so that was cool, because then we got a couple of scenes of the Raptors chasing people around. Actually, which is pretty much the same scene as in How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the same concept as
so
that.
getting to the big reveal at the end of the movie, they say again we need to fight monsters with monsters. So they bring
No. They said it in a much stupider way than that. So
please.
So now Chris Pratt manages to make contact with the Raptors again and get them back on his side. So now the Raptors are fighting the Indominus Rex, like in the center of the park where it's all deserted. He's with the kids and they're hiding in some shack or something, whatever. And while they're all fighting, and the kid makes this dumb comment like, "We need more teeth." Like, that's a thing that people say, right?
No one says that.
No
I
one
have never said that.
No, never. I know. It's
I
just
don't
such
think I don't think that was meant to be literal.
It's such a cringeworthy line because no one would ever. That's such a thing that no one would ever say. So anyway, that gives Bryce Dallas Howard the idea to like go around the area and like open up the Tyrannosaurus nest. So now the Tyrannosaurus comes out and he's fighting the Indominus with the Raptors, and like it's all crazy and they all kill each other.
Did that feel as big a moment as it should have?
Yeah, so that felt pretty cool. So yeah, that was. I mean, the nice thing about the movie is that it did get better as it went along, and you know, the last act of the movie is like pretty well paced in terms of action. So I did like it for that. The fight at the end was pretty cool.
Overall, do you think this movie should be the highest grossing
Concisely, please.
No, obviously not. I don't think it was. I think it's like an okay movie. Like I said, it's maybe a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 movie. Like it works as a movie, but I felt there were so many things that bugged me about it.
It works as a good excuse to eat some popcorn, but
Sure, it's like a decent popcorn movie,
is a
but I don't
popcorn
think
flick.
it's that great.
but you can't rewatch it over and over, is what you're
No.
saying. All right, cool. So that's our thoughts on Jurassic World.